trouble we're having here is everything cuts fine, but you can see it stays in the die. We need better ejection in the die. I think if you were to go with a press like this, it's very possible you could speed up production and make it work well for you. The problem is going to be you have to redo your die so that you've got the correct ejection in there. The ejection is what pushes the product out after it's been cut. And as you can see, this is just staying in the die, which is not very efficient. And what you're doing now with the clicker type press, you might just hit it soft, hit it again, and then pull the product out. So you can see it's, you know, it's cutting just fine. I'm going to leave that in there just for now as ejection while I cut this Pendaflex type material and see if that can make a difference with pushing the material out so we don't have, it's not the right ejection. And again, it's hard when we're using different types of dies, but let's just see what happens here. You can hear it cut just fine. Now it's sticking there, but I'm able to, well, I'm not able to. The die is sharp enough, the die is working. This die, this wasn't even, this is my die. I don't know what I'm talking about, that you don't have the right ejection. It does not have the right ejection in there. But as you can see, it's cutting just fine. It's got a good, clear cut. It's just not pushing it out. So we need to have a die made specifically for this material. And I don't think it needs to be a high die in some cases. This is your flooring material. I'm going to try that quick. It cuts just fine. There's no issue with the tonnage or the pressure or anything like that. We're getting good clean cuts on all of the material. What we're not getting is the proper ejection, and we need to have the dies built specifically for the material you're cutting, and that can change from material to material. I notice, you know, this might be different than this, which might be different than this, but it's all essentially the same type of material. It's all going to cut just fine. These dies probably work great for what you're doing. This die was working okay, but needed, again, some better ejection. This is the die you sent, but I had switched it to another die that I had. You know, these were the parts that came out of that one. They worked great. Essentially, that die that you sent and this die were too high. The press only opens to about 1 and an eighth, maybe 1 1/4 inches tops if you take the top cutting plate off, but it's not necessarily recommended. So in all, it can be done. We just need to make some modifications to the dies. The press itself is capable of cutting all of those materials that you've sent, just making sure that we've got the correct die with the proper ejection and the correct tooling to make it all happen.